But a heck of a lot more muscle was gained from age 17 to 18 than from 16 to 17. And if you're 100% natural, you used to see the greatest gains in year 1, year 2 a little bit less, and so on. My personal opinion at this point probably took some PDs. Perhaps SARMs, I don't know.
Okay. All right. So my defense, obviously this is an amazing point Greg makes here. You're supposed to gain, when you have newbie gains, you gain the most amount of mass. This is like when it's your prime time for growing. You should utilize it. That's why I always tell like kids who are younger, who aren't like, to not worry about being super shredded, is just to start building that foundation while you can, because you'll be able to build the most your first like few years of lifting. So yeah, it's like your scale is like, as you start lifting, you gain a bunch of muscle. It's easier to gain, and then as you naturally are lifting over time, you get diminishing returns. So like if I go through a bulk now, 6 years into lifting, I will gain a little bit, but not as much as I would have when I was like 16, 17. So my defense for why I didn't gain as much when I was 16 and I gained a lot of my muscle when I was 17. When I was 16 and I was doing like, more of the calisthenic stuff, I was running a lot, I had no idea what I was doing in the gym. Like I did not know how to train. I did not know how to diet. I was basically doing like a keto thing. I thought carbs were bad for me. So like I wasn't eating carbs at all. There wasn't as much like fitness information out there when I was 16 like there is today, like through TikTok and everything. So I honestly had no idea what the hell I was doing in the gym. And then I started doing my own research, and then as I got closer to turning 17, like more around my junior year of high school, is when I started like I was studying the scientific studies. I was watching like Jeff Nippert a lot back then. And then I started eating. Like I stopped doing cardio and I started eating a bunch of food, a bunch of carbs. So for me, my defense of why I didn't gain that much muscle during when I was 16 was because I was doing cardio, I was doing like lower carb stuff. I didn't know what I was doing. I was not prioritizing building muscle at all. And then when I was 17, I started going through the dirty bulk. I was eating whatever the hell was in sight, whatever I wanted to eat. It was just the first year I didn't have knowledge on what I was doing. The second year, I actually started to develop things, started to watch, people in the industry and learn from them and basically just mimic them. And I dialed in. It was my main priority. Like I said, like my grades were shit. It was just straight up my priority was building muscle and getting as big as possible, just eating whatever I could eat. So yeah, that's why I'd say I gained more in the second year versus the first year. I know some of you guys might even be weird, like might be like, yo, why are you defending this so much? It's not that I'm trying to defend it. I'm just like explaining my side more the same way Greg explained his opinion. And again, you could choose which side you want to believe. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Just don't hate me or Greg for being on one side. It's like there's no beef like that. It's just us clearly stating our sides of this perspective.